My name is Amanda Carlson. My middle name is How, so I go by A How C, which is most of my photo work. I'm 28, I'm living in Chicago, and I also work full-time as a designer, which a lot of people might not know. I'm working on becoming a full-time photographer because that's honestly where my real passions lay. I went to school for arts technology, which is a mix of photo, design, everything from like glass blowing to light classes to video classes. Basically took everything art related and put it on a computer. So way back in high school when I was like 15 years old, I wanted to do a graphic design class, and I ended up having that class be full because everyone registered for it. And so then I did, photo's cool. I always thought photo was kind of like easy because I was 15 and I'm just, you don't know, it's like clicking a button. And once I got into it, it was all film, of course. And it was just like, wow, this whole kind of world opened up. And it wasn't an obsession or anything, but it was just, this is really cool. And then my dad had a lot of photography equipment from being in like the Vietnam War. He took like a ton of film photography there. So he gave me his camera. And after high school, just kept doing photo stuff at the university I went to, Illinois State. I was the university photographer for 4 years, so I did a lot of photojournalism and lots of different events and stuff. So I really got to do everything from football to basketball to baseball to random celebrities that come in to some nonprofit raising baked cookies and stuff, you know what I mean? Like everything. So that was really good to get a wide spectrum of stuff to photograph, because everything in photography, I feel like there really is a specialty, from music artists and event photography and portrait photography. It all is in the same bucket, but they're all really different. And after college, I did a lot more street photography because Chicago just has amazing street photography, and I kind of like looked at people differently. I feel like I always saw like the best features in everyone, like whether they have nice eyes or a nice bone structure or something. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna try portrait photography, see what happens. And honestly, ever since then, it's just been like constant growth. I've just kept trying new things. Like every single shoot I go on, I try to do something new, whether it's using color or new lights or whatever. So I think that would be like the consistent to at least the growth of my own style. I think light is one of the most inspiring things, and photo is light, that's all it is. And I think the more you master your sense of light, the more you can master photography. Let's say you booked me and you're like, oh, I need some new headshots. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And so you come over and we get some headshots, but I can't shoot with somebody without trying something new. Whether it's, okay, we did the headshots, now let's move on to put this blanket on your head and let me shine a flashlight at you. I think the passion hit the hardest when I had people tell me that they saw themselves beautiful for the first time, or they saw themselves in a light that they've never seen. And I mean, I'm even getting goosebumps like thinking about it right now, because it's such a beautiful moment that if I could create that for someone, I just never want to stop. It's so motivating, and it's like I can help other people through art, and there's nothing better than that. I think success is different for everyone. Where my success lays is in, obviously, number one is happiness. Number two, being able to live within my means and not be stressed out about money. And number three would be able to actively pursue a passion that makes you happy. So the happy and the passion kind of lock with each other. I would say I'm successful in that sense. The idea of success with fame and money and stuff, that's all nice. But to me, like the core of that is with people that have big budgets and stuff, they also have really talented artists that work with them. So I would love to get to that level of success as far as, bigger names and bigger people and everything. But even in my own world right now, I would say my own happiness brings that successful feeling. My design work I feel like it's like a different side of me completely, where photo is like my dreams and passions, and design is like, I really enjoy it and getting it done, but it's not at least the specific work I'm doing is like a UX designer. I'm not like, up at night, like thinking about different navigation bar styles. When you can find that flexibility between where your main income is coming from and where your passion is, I think you'll eventually find the balance to juggle both of them until the passion can like outweigh the income. Finding that job is not easy. I mean, even 2 years ago when I moved to Seattle, I just quit my job and I just moved without a job, with nothing, wanting to change my career from a front-end web developer to a designer. And it's like the guy that hired me, he hired me off my photos, which is crazy because I only had a couple of things in my design portfolio, but it's like taking that risk. So if you want to be a photographer full time, but you're like, I can't right now, I don't have any clients, you can find a way to make it work. It just depends how badly you want it. I felt like I had that day when I decided to go freelance full time, and it only works up until a certain extent, because then you're like, well, I just ate into all my savings and I'm getting money, but it's only paying like my bare rent or something. Or you'll get one project that pays like a ton of money and then one project that pays like nothing, and then it's just kind of like this. I think when I'll be able to get enough clients on like a regular basis for like a month or two at least, and just have consistency and starting to work with like big brands and stuff, I think when I feel like I financially can do it, then I'll be able to do it, because I don't want to live as like, you know, a starving artist or whatever. It's not a fun lifestyle to constantly be stressed out by money. So whenever I can financially do photo full time, that's when I'll be like saying bye to the design. And I'll still be doing design. It's not going away forever. It's still like a love of mine, just not as corporate. Wi-Fi boy, he's this little character, and I basically want him to be the millennial Hello Kitty in a way. Every single millennial needs Wi-Fi. Every single millennial needs an internet connection, and I love like all cute things. Like I just love the animation style, and I just wanted to create something that could feel super relatable and has the ability to grow. So he's still in the works, but he's coming together slowly, you know what I mean? I gotta work on a website. I'm planning to like make a little book about him, maybe a comic book and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff coming with him. I'm also working on my own personal brand. It's called How, because that's my middle name. And it's something that I kind of want more as a lifelong project rather than let's just pump this brand out, screen print a bunch of hoodies, and I want it to be more special. You know, I do a lot of embroidery work, so I would love to have like a touch of that on there. But it's not something I'm eager to release. It's something when it's right, when I feel like it represents me well and I can grow, then I'll release it. Outside of those, I'm such a big fan of good branding. I think branding is so key, especially in 2019, 2020. If you don't have your own personal brand, if you don't have a feeling that somebody looks at your work, you really need to get that, because people come to you for that feeling. People come to you for some kind of connection. Oh my gosh, Chicago has inspired me so much. This is a city living, breathing creatives, and not just that, it's such a collaborative city where if I reach out to somebody, hey, I want to work together, I have this idea, they're more than likely gonna be like, yeah, let's do it. The amount of difference I saw in Chicago versus Seattle, where I was, it's completely night and day when it comes to the creative scene. People here will be like creating little things from their nails to their jewelry to customizing their sweatpants to making everything just so creative, and it's so inspiring, and I really think that has a big influence on my own photos, on my own artwork, on any art-related thing I do. It's a city that I think more people need to be talking about, especially when it comes to the creative scene. Community is almost like an unwritten family. I feel like when you're in a community that actually is active, that constantly tries to better the surroundings they're in, I really think there's nothing else like that. I mean, even just living in Pilsen, I feel this sense of community, and I've never felt that before, at least to this extreme with so many artists living here. I feel constantly inspired. Chicago's communities are just incredible. I cannot emphasize that enough. Like, people put each other on, people really just emphasize how we could all grow together. I think without community, again, like I think my work would be absolutely different. Like when I left Chicago, I didn't have any community, and I basically didn't do much for like 2 years because it's like I tried to reach out and work with people, but it's just not the same. So community is extremely important, especially if you're a young creative in the game. You don't have a lot of work. You need to work with people, like get involved with your community and you can make it happen. Traveling, I think, is one of the biggest influences for me. When I left the country, I was 3, so I've always been going back to Asia, where my mom's family is from. So I've kind of lived with like 2 cultures my whole life, my Malaysian side and my American side. And that in general felt really normal growing up. It was like, okay, like there's that type of people and this type of people, and it was totally normal. When I traveled for the first time to Europe, I traveled by myself and I was there for 3 weeks, and I ran the Berlin Marathon while I was there, and just seeing all the architecture there and the people, I mean, you can't buy experiences like that. You can't buy that beautiful sunset you saw on the beach in wherever you travel to, because they're just moments that just spark something in your brain. And I think every single creative, whether you're doing music, visual art, any type of thing, needs to travel. I think that's definitely the most important thing. Like, I just came back from Japan. I was there for 4 months, and living in Japan and learning about their lifestyle was so completely different. Japan focuses a lot on functional design. They're very thoughtful from every single thing they do, whether it's a hinge on a cap of a water bottle to a little like animal that has bubblegum coming out of it, but it's like coming out of its butt. It's like, what? Like, you would never think of that stuff, but Japan has everything. So living there was super inspirational to just see what people can do and how people do things, and how there's literally no walls to what you want to create. When I moved away from Chicago, I felt like my photo career was kind of, you know, starting to go really well and everything, but I had that feeling of just like, I need to just get out. I need to just see the world and not have the same perspective and same super high comfort level of being here. I felt in a way those 2 years that I was gone really set me back a lot. And it was the consistent feeling of, okay, like I'm trying to work with people, it's not working. I'm trying to create something, it's not working. Just being around people that are sour all the time, it really wears you down. It's one of those things, looking back at it now, it could be looked at as a waste of time, or I take it as a lesson learned, because sometimes all you need to do is really appreciate what you have around you and know that something good is coming out of it. I think those are the best type of failures in life, because you're taking a big risk and you have no idea what's gonna happen. I moved away and I realized just, wow, I was really in something special in Chicago, and it's crazy how your surroundings could really like mentally set you in a different path. And even when I was in Japan, that same isolation feeling just kind of followed me there. And coming back here was the most like breath of fresh air. So it's like, even if it took some time back, I feel like everything is coming back now and it's all working for the best. And you have to go through those moments of feeling down and just like, what am I doing, to feel those moments of like, this is amazing and so worth it. Because if you always live your life in the safe zone, it's just gonna stay there. And my advice would be to never give up. You have to keep on trying. There's gonna be haters all the way down to the very day you step back in the ground. It is gonna be a long journey, but you have to keep trying. The only way to get better at anything is to just do it all the time. If you like skateboarding, you're not gonna get better by skating once a week. You gotta skate every day. So with photography, if you're interested in doing photography for real, whether, for example, for me, I like taking pictures of people because I feel it lets me express myself in the best way possible. So if you want to take pictures of people, you need to just call up every single one of your friends and be like, listen, we're gonna keep shooting you until this looks like a Vogue magazine cover. So just keep on trying and don't let the people around you get you down. Surround yourself with a good community, with good people, and something good will happen from it. A lot of artists that, you know, they'll try and then 12 years later, they're famous, they're successful, and they just never gave up.